Right now, your emails, photos, and social media posts are being fed into AI models worth billions of dollars, and there's basically nothing stopping it. I'm not talking about some sci-fi dystopia. This is happening today. And the wild part? It's completely legal in most places. Let me break down how this works and why the legal system is about 5 years behind the technology. So here's the thing. When you post something online, a tweet, a comment, a photo on Instagram, a review on Amazon, you're creating data. That data has value. Not to you. To companies training AI models. Companies like OpenAI, Google, Meta, and hundreds of smaller AI startups need massive amounts of text, images, and information to train their models. The bigger the dataset, the smarter the AI. It's like feeding a brain information. More information equals a better brain. But here's where it gets legally murky. Most of these companies don't ask your permission. They just take it. They scrape it off the internet or license it from data brokers. And technically, they're not breaking any laws in most countries. Why? Because of something called the Terms of Service loophole. When you sign up for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or any platform, you agree to their terms of service. You probably didn't read them. Nobody does. They're designed to be unreadable, like 40 pages of legal jargon that a lawyer would need a lawyer to understand. Buried in those terms is usually something like, you grant us and our partners a license to use your content. That's vague on purpose. Partners could mean AI companies. Use could mean train an AI. And because you clicked, I agree, you've legally consented. Sort of. The second loophole is the public domain argument. If you post something publicly on the internet, it's publicly available. So some companies argue that scraping public data isn't really stealing. It's just reading what you put out there. It's like saying if you write something on a bathroom wall, anyone can use it however they want because it's public. That logic is spreading. OpenAI, for example, trained ChatGPT on massive amounts of internet text, books, websites, Reddit threads, all scraped without explicit permission from the original creators. They argue that this falls under fair use, which is a legal doctrine that lets you use copyrighted material in certain contexts, like education or criticism. But here's the problem. Fair use was designed for things like writing a book review or teaching a class. It wasn't designed for training a billion-dollar AI system on copyrighted work. And the courts haven't really figured out yet whether scraping the entire internet to train an AI counts as fair use. There are lawsuits happening right now. Authors, artists, and publishers are suing AI companies, saying their work was used without permission. Some of these cases could go to the Supreme Court, but that's going to take years. In the meantime, the training keeps happening. The third loophole is international jurisdiction. If you're in the United States and you post something, and a company in another country trains an AI on it, whose laws apply? It's unclear. Different countries have different privacy laws. The EU has GDPR, which is stricter. The US has almost nothing. So companies often just operate in the places with the weakest rules. Now, here's what's actually happening to your specific data. Your text and images are being used to train models that generate text and images. Your browsing habits, your location data, your shopping history, all of it feeds into recommendation algorithms and personalization systems. Companies aren't necessarily storing your name next to your data, but they're storing patterns. And patterns can be reverse engineered back to you. There's also a sneakier thing called data laundering. Companies buy data sets from data brokers, who bought them from other brokers, who scraped them from websites. After a few hops, the original source is buried so deep that it's impossible to trace back. So even if you wanted to opt out, you can't, because you don't even know your data is being used. Some people ask, well, isn't this just how the internet works? Companies have always used data to train algorithms. What's different now? The scale is different. The value is different. And the permanence is different. When Google trained its search algorithm on web data, it wasn't creating a copycat Google. When Meta trained its recommendation system, it wasn't creating a copycat Instagram. But when OpenAI trains ChatGPT, it's training a system that can generate human-like text that sounds like it could have come from any individual source in its training data. It's not just learning patterns. It's learning to imitate. That's where copyright and authorship start to feel violated. If I write a unique essay, and an AI trained on my essay can now generate essays that sound just like mine, have I been harmed? Most people would say yes. The law is still catching up to that. So what can you actually do about this? First, you can opt out of some things. Some platforms let you adjust your privacy settings. You can request that data brokers delete your information. There are companies like Delete Me and Optory that help with this. But it's like playing whack-a-mole. Your data is everywhere. Second, you can support regulation. The EU is already moving in this direction with GDPR and upcoming AI legislation. They're saying that companies need to be transparent about what data they're using and they need consent. The US is slower, but there's pressure building. Third, you can be aware. Understand that your data has value. When you post something for free on social media, you're not really getting a free service. You're trading your data and attention for access. That's the deal. And right now, that deal also includes training AI systems. The legal system will eventually catch up. There will be laws. There will be precedents. But for now, we're in a Wild West moment where AI companies are moving fast and the legal framework is moving slow. And honestly, that's the real story. It's not that AI companies are doing anything technically illegal. It's that the laws were written before anyone imagined AI would be this powerful and this valuable. So companies are just following the old rules into a new world. The loophole exists because the law hasn't caught up yet. And by the time it does, the AI will have already learned everything about you. If you want to actually understand how AI companies are operating and what the real risks are, not the hype, the actual risks, subscribe. I break down one of these every few days, and it's the stuff nobody's explaining clearly.